Greetings and welcome to Monster Legends for another special feeding episode. This time we're going to be feeding a Thunder Mythic whom I acquired on this month's Legends Pass. And this is Dr. Wattz. And Dr. Wattz is a Mythic, as I mentioned. He's also Thunder, as I mentioned. He's also mechanical, part of the Good Legions, but takes time for adventuring. Unfortunately, he has one locked Rune slot, but you know what? I think we're going to spend gems on him. I do believe that is going to happen. So let's find a home for him. No, I'm sure you would love to be there, but no, you're not going to be there. No. Yeah, you can hang out with those guys for now. Okay, somebody has been playing Portal. Alright, so where is our new little friend? He's hiding back there. We know you're there. This is somebody whom we're going to name differently. This is Dr. Wattz. He is a Mythic. He is Thunder. He has an evolving trait. Let's take a look at it. At rank 0, he gets cooldown immunity. This means you cannot activate his cooldowns. This is a very, very good one right there. Very, very good indeed. At rank 1, he also becomes immune to burning. Burning, of course, is a very common torture effect, so being immune to that could be very useful. At rank 3, he also becomes immune to blindness, which, of course, will include total blindness. So that could also be very, very useful. Let's take a look at his stats. His strength is very good. His life is very good. His speed is very good. These are really good stats. He doesn't have any weaknesses in terms of that. So he's a good all-around individual there. So he's going to be hitting very hard. He's going to be doing it very quickly. And he certainly is not a glass cannon. And by the way, he is an attacker. So yeah, he's going to be doing a lot of damage and he's going to be hard to kill. Very good combo there. So let's check out his initial skills. Always researching. Deals heavy thunder damage to one enemy. Ooh, that's kind of nice. And not a magic trick. Deals low thunder damage to all enemies. Okay, well that one not so good. I mean, this one right here is really kind of good. This one is actually more stamina and wow, that's just terrible damage right there. So, I mean, that one is pretty good. That one not so much. And then, of course, we have his special skill, My Destiny. Applies damage boost to itself, deals moderate thunder damage to all enemies, applies double damage to itself. Oh, that's kind of interesting. So he's going to increase his damage by 50%, and then he's just going to basically do high moderate damage. I mean, if he was doing like the massive that most individuals usually do, you wouldn't even need the damage boost. But I do see that he's going to end with double damage and the damage boost. So whatever he does after doing his special, he's going to do a lot more damage. So this is really more for setting him up for after his special. I'm actually kind of surprised he doesn't get an extra turn then. You know, it might actually be a better skill if you took the damage out and you actually gave him an extra turn so that he gets to pick the attack he's going to use with a damage boost and double damage. But anyway, it's pretty good considering how strong he is and, of course, the damage you're going to put on him with strength runes. He's going to do a lot of damage anyway, one way or another, whether it's with this attack or what comes after. Dr. Wattz was born from Dr. Victor's childhood wish to have a brother he could play with. The two siblings were inseparable for years. But as the competition grew between them, Dr. Wattz left to build his own army of monsters he controls through Mythic Ember. He wants to be the single most brilliant scientist ever. Well, he's a Mythic and Dr. Victor is a legendary, so yeah, he won. Alright, so he's still a little fella here though. So we're going to have to feed him up to his final form at level 4, so let's get going. And there he is. And he's got a magnificent hat that glows in the dark. Alright, so let's get going with the skills because he has some good ones. So let's go. Level 7. Try to catch me. Deals moderate special damage to one enemy, and that is a 0/0. Very, very useful. 0 stamina, 0 cooldown. In terms of the cooldown, not as big an issue for him, at least at the beginning of a fight, because he can't have his cooldowns activated unless you disable his trait. But having a 0/0 is actually a really good thing, so I'm probably going to end up keeping that. because it's just really useful. I mean, you could take his stamina away. That's one thing you could do to shut him down. But if he's got this skill, he can do that. All right, so let's continue to level 10. The debuff is a lie. Removes all negative status effects from itself. Yeah, I'm not really too keen on that one. Gotta take it for now, though, right? All right, so let's continue to level 20. For the science. Deals heavy thunder damage to all enemies, applies daze to all enemies. Okay, that's kind of chunky on the stamina, but that's going to do a lot of damage. So we're going to put that one right up front right there. Alright, so let's continue to level 25. Behind you. Deals heavy thunder damage to one enemy, applies shock and daze to one enemy. Alright, now that one looks really good, but I'm actually not going to take it in the end. I have another one in mind. Alright, so let's continue to level 35. What's this? Deals massive thunder damage to one enemy. Yeah, that's the one right there. Alright, so I'm going to take that one for that, because it's less stamina. Yes, it does have an extra round of cooldown, but since I'm going to try to catch me, it's not really that important. I just want one really big hit. And of course, that is one really big hit. All right, I think we got one more left, so let's go to level 40. Halt. Deals moderate thunder damage to all enemies, applies shock to all enemies. That is what I'm talking about right there. All right, and I think that we're actually done. Let's just go right ahead now to get him to 60. All right, behind you. That's a good skill. It's just that I like that one better because it does a lot more damage and it costs less stamina. See, the thing about the shock and the daze is they're probably already going to have those, unless, of course, it's an individual who's dodging group attacks. But in that case, I'd rather just hit them really hard with the one on the right. You know what I mean? That's just me. All right, so let's continue. 50. And apparently I won a chest there. That's a wonderful thing. Let's just keep going. We're probably going to see that one over and over again because the game desperately wants me to take that. Unless it wants me to take that one. Right. And all the way to level 60. Yeah, that one right there. All right, let's just pop in for a second here and see what I have set up. Right, behind you. I mean, that's good. It's just that I like this one more. And it's kind of what I needed to fit in there, right? All right, let's see what else we have here. Now, I don't like that. You know, if it had something like an extra turn, you know, clear negative status effects and then an extra turn, or maybe a damage boost or something like that, that would be better. But just purging negative status effects, I think that's the responsibility of somebody else on the team. His responsibility is damage, and that's what he does. And of course, yeah, this one was not a bad one to start with. And if you compare it with this one, it's like, wow, that's actually pretty close. Maybe I should take the one on the left here. The thing about it is, the one on the right doesn't need stamina. Cooldown isn't really a problem for him, since you can't activate his cooldowns, you know, at the beginning of a fight, but you could take his stamina away. And if you take his stamina away, or he runs out of it, or maybe he has a stamina leak on him or something like that, he could always use this one, try to catch me. So he always can act, unless, of course, you're controlling him in some other way, right? So that's the thing. So basically, I'm keeping the two group attacks, this really big one, and this 0-0 here, because I really like 0-0 attacks. All right, let's check out his stats at level 60. Like I said, his strength is really good. His life it's not quite as good as some of the other ones, but it's pretty good. He's going to come in just short of 60,000 at level 100, assuming you don't do something else with him. His speed is really good. So he's a really strong damage dealer. He has heavy skills in terms of damage. And he's also fast. But he's also kind of chunky in terms of life. So he has a really good mix of stats here to go along with some really powerful skills. I mean, they don't do all kinds of crazy stuff. Yes, he does do the shock to shut down extra turning. But, I mean, that first one where he does heavy thunder damage to everybody. Whoa, if somebody on the other side is water, look out, because there's going to be a lot of damage taking place. All right, let's check out the skills that I selected here. All right, we're going with this one, and this is the one I was just talking about. For the science, deals heavy thunder damage to all enemies, applies daze to all enemies. Now, daze is going to reduce the accuracy on the other side by a marginal amount. I'm really looking at the heavy thunder damage. With the strength he has, and of course what you're going to do to enhance him, that's going to do a lot of damage. Really, that's a good starter right there, because this guy wants to do damage. Now, there is an argument for starting with the last group attack if you want to go with the shock. We'll get to that in a bit. All right, then we have this one. Wattz this. Deals massive thunder damage to one enemy. Okay, so this is a single target, big hit. I took this one over the one that did less damage and also had some other effects on it. That also had shock and it had daze on it. Now, the effects could be very useful for the other attack, that is, if an individual is dodging group attacks, but I figure I just want to kill him really quick, and that's probably what this skill is going to do. And then we have this one, Try to Catch Me. Deals moderate special damage to one enemy. Alright, this one does the least damage of his attacks, but it's what I like to call 0-0, which means it costs 0 stamina and it has a 0 cooldown. Which means unless he's actually being controlled, with a stun or a freeze or something like that, he is going to be able to use this attack. If my memory is right, it's a 40 damage. So that is going to hurt, especially considering his stats and what you're going to put on him. This is just very, very useful to have. And then we have this one, Halt. Deals moderate thunder damage to all enemies, applies shock to all enemies. Now, shock is a torture effect that will do damage, but it will also stop extra turning. If an individual who uses extra turn skills has this effect on them, when they use the skill, they won't get the extra turn. Their turn will just end, it'll go to the next individual. This can be very useful, and there would be some motivation for using this over this at the beginning of a fight, depending on who's on the other side. If you see an extra turner over there, this would actually be very useful to begin with, shutting them down. So he's got a lot of good damaging stuff here, and he is a damage dealer, so standard, I'm going to say at least 2 strength runes, because you want to do a lot of damage with this guy. In terms of the last one, he doesn't have a life problem. I wouldn't even bother with that, because, he's a damage dealer, he's not a glass cannon, not going to be a problem. He also doesn't have much of a stamina problem, too. This one costs 58, this one's only a 36, that one's a 0. That one's a 46. See, this one, the presence of this one means I'm not really concerned about stamina for him because he'll always be able to attack, right? And that big one is only a 36. So that is actually not too bad at all. So I wouldn't worry about stamina. So it comes down to speed. Do you want him to go faster or do you want your team to go faster? That's kind of a personal decision. In terms of this guy, I would probably use a support speed so that his team is going faster. It just doesn't seem to be something that would be necessary for him. I could see some people wanting to put a speed just for him to speed him up. I could definitely understand that. But from my perspective, I would want him to be supporting the entire team to go as fast as possible. I could also see somebody wanting to put 3 damages on him. That way he can be a real destroyer. That's definitely possible. He's fast enough as it is. So, if you want him to just wreak havoc, yeah, we can do that. Me, I'm going to go 2 damages and a support speed. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, this is Dr. Wattz, and he's really good. He doesn't have any weaknesses in terms of his stats, and he's got good damaging skills. And he even throws a little bit of a torture effect or a little bit of a daze in there too. And having that 0-0, very, very, very good for certain situations that might come up. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for now. So thank you very much for your attention. I really appreciate it. And play games because games are fun. See ya.